Today, I'd like to talk about Limerick. The media give Limerick a hard time, but I don't think they deserve it. Look at this statue of King Arthur. He's holding the sword upside down, because the very worst thing people from Limerick will do to you is batter you with the blunt side of a blade. Every man, woman and child of Limerick was baptised in the gravy from Chicken Hut. They're dipped in a vat of this sauce by the gatekeeper of Limerick, Tom the accordion player. Tom holds them by the ankles and dunks them in upside down, developing an Achilles heel in the Limerick locals. So if you kick one of them in the ankle, their Chicken Hut loyalty card will dissolve and they'll start going on about Donkey Fords, calling it the best fish and chip shop in the country, even though it's named after a mule. In Limerick, blood is thicker than mud, but nothing will ever be as thick as the Chicken Hut gravy. Limerick has 4 playable characters: the Fiend, the Bure, the Gomy and the Gowl. The Fiend is the adult male of Limerick, a standard human of urban Munster. He usually drinks too much, he's good at football and he tries to be one of the lads, but after a night out usually goes home and plays Wii Sports. Then there's the Bure, the female of Limerick. The Bure can usually be found on the 304 talking really loudly about some fiend she's messaging on Snapchat. Similar to the Fiend in that when she drinks, she often brings herself to the brink of death. The word Fiend and Bure come from the Irish words Fionn and Bure, meaning wine and beer. So even the genders down here are only an arm's length away from chronic alcoholism. When a Fiend and Bure procreate, they'll sometimes give birth to a Gomy. The Gomy's like the Fiend, but with higher aggression and lower self-esteem. The Gomy will usually be the loudest and most harmless in the social group, a cream egg of sorts, hard on the outside with a soft and gooey interior. The Gowl is a close relation to the Gomy, a similar character but slightly more laid back and slightly less intelligent. The Gowl is prone to saying the thing they think everyone else is thinking but are too afraid to say. The Gowl, like the Fiend, is a dribbler. The Fiend is a good midfielder and the Gowl has saliva issues. Limerick's really cleaned up their act in the last few years. Due to Limerick winning the 3 in a row, an amnesty's been set up outside Thomond Park where local youths can hand over their switchblades and swap them for a hurl. Turns out a hurl can be used as a weapon too, but at least it looks like they love sports. Costello's is one of the most famous clubs in Limerick. Flann, the owner, is the unsung hero of Limerick's history. The admission money he collects on the door is used to furnish his flat above the bar, a flat made up entirely of loose fivers. I think fivers are called flims in Limerick. Get out! The red carpet in Costello's is so old they actually robbed it off Aladdin. The Icon nightclub used to be home to everyone who didn't go to Costy's, but it got shut down due to all the GA players and countryside students accidentally bumping into each other and spilling bottles of Bulmer's Berry all over their boot-cut jeans. Some say the Icon was the Supermax of the nightclub industry, except instead of getting a burger box, you got a box off the bouncer. Moyross is the most famous tourist destination in Limerick, is a sentence you'll never hear anyone say. If you're thinking of going to Moyross to ride a horse, that's a great idea, as long as it's only a thought. Moyross is named after a lad called Ross Moy, who changed his name to Moyross on Facebook to make the Garda think he wasn't selling hash. The Great Wall of Moyross has kept the local residents shivering and shaking in the shade for centuries. Many have campaigned to have the wall knocked down, but the government just built them in Iceland instead. The wall has had mixed results within the community of Moyross. It's made them feel like outsiders in a county that wants nothing to do with them, but it's also made them really good at climbing. College Court is where the students of Limerick go to drop out. Once the weather reaches above 15 degrees, everyone under 25 in Limerick comes here to take their tops off and dance. Experts agree that the coronavirus was made in a bathtub in College Court to create a lockdown just so everyone would come here and take yokes. If you walk into the centre of the estate and listen closely, you can hear someone shouting yurt every 3.7 seconds. Yurt is the Limerick equivalent to yup. It's the most frequently used phrase of the Limerickians. It means everything and nothing at the exact same time. The term yurt originated in the caveman era, when a Limerick man from Rahane got his leg stuck in a copper pipe and started screaming for help. Everyone around him misheard him and thought he was saying yurt, and as a result, he died. St. John's Castle is the stronghold of Limerick culture. This is the geographical mouth that swallows all of Munster's American tourists. It's named after the patron saint of Limerick, John Player Blue. Johnny Blues are locally known as the Soulers of South Hill, because kids love them. God, feels like this video's been going on for ages. Does anyone know why time in Limerick seems to move so slow?
An often uncelebrated facet
Does anyone
of
hear
Limerick
that?
City is our unique
Sounds like
experience of
Blindboy.
time. Under normal circumstances, time moves forward. But in Limerick, time moves sideways. You'd have to experience it now to understand it. It's hard to explain. So regular time, like in Waterford, if it's 2 o'clock, I can say with certainty that in 1 hour it will be 3 o'clock. That means nothing in Limerick. We don't even express time using numbers. We express time using textures. So if I said to one of my buddies, "Oh, when were you born?" He's not going to say the year when he was born. He's going to say, "I was born the way that wool feels when it's wet." And I'll understand it because that's sideways time. It's textural, it's not numerical. Or, do you ever be in the beach and you get sand in your mouth? That feeling of sand in your teeth. That's when I made my confirmation. And it can be difficult operating within the structures of reality outside of Limerick when you live with sideways time. It can be difficult when you're outside of Limerick. But we do things to circumnavigate it and to confuse time, to make time move forward. One thing you can do is, if you're in Limerick, do a really, really good impression of a clock. So get the two hands of a clock, nice big clock, and hold the two hands up and behave numerically. Behave like a 4:15, and then it becomes a 4:15. It's not sideways anymore. But of course, what happens? You drive through Limerick, you see everyone holding up these big fucking metal things doing an impression of a clock, and what do people say? Oh, they all have knives in Limerick. They're not knives. No one has knives. They're the hands of clocks, because time is sideways. And that's one of the greatest misconceptions about Limerick City, I think.
Namaste.